Hello and welcome back to my channel, The A Word and Me. My name is Elana and welcome to another one of my week-long university preparation videos. This video is all about Freshers' Fair survival. Now you may think, survival? Why do I need the word survival? Because honestly, it is a survival experience. It is that horrendous. Well, it was for me. So this video is all about how to survive it and be able to make the most out of it while also being really accommodating to yourself and your mental health and your sensory awareness. Before I went to Freshers' Fair, I genuinely thought, oh, it's fine, you know, it's nothing, it'll be like really chill environment, I can spend all day there. Like, generally no. And that's a consensus among pretty much all students that we have in the Disabled Students Network and other people that I've met. So it's worth thinking about actually maybe hopefully listen to my tips, because while you think it might be okay, like most of us will agree that it's a very, very stressful experience, and I'd rather everyone not have an initial bad experience and have a good positive one straight away. So hopefully you enjoy this video. The video has 5 tips on how to survive Freshers' Fair. Just as a side note, I've only ever experienced York Freshers' Fair, not other universities, so this is going to be based on my experience and is going to have a focus on York. I will have one of the tips specifically focusing on York Freshers' Week. However, I feel like a lot of the things are probably going to be applicable to other universities, at least I hope so. But obviously some of them won't be, so kind of take some of them with a pinch of salt and work out what you can take to your university and what's kind of more specific to York if I've kind of not mentioned it. So my first tip is to prioritise where you want to go to on Freshers' Fair. York have a list of societies on their website. This includes sport, and I think it's really worth having a look at, and I hope lots of other universities have that too, or at least have kind of a list of what's going to be there at Freshers' Fair. I think it's important to prioritise what you want to go to first, because it is going to be quite a sensory overloaded day and you're probably not going to be able to go around the whole thing before kind of having a sensory overload and a bit of a meltdown. So my suggestion would be look up where you want to go, find out where those places are and then go to them first. That way you've done what you kind of aimed to do and what you wanted to see, and then the rest is kind of like a bonus and just more of a like an enjoyable experience of getting to explore, but you've kind of done the stuff that you aimed to do. My second tip is to use the quiet spaces / quiet rooms that are on offer. I really hope universities up and down the country have got quiet rooms available for Freshers' Fair. It would really anger me if they didn't, but at York we do, yay! Though last year I didn't actually know they existed. So make use of them when you kind of need a break, but you don't really need to go all the way back to your flat. You know, that could be a bit of a trek, or you know, your house. Go to one of the quiet rooms. They should be dark and they should be quiet. At York we've made them, or at least last year, and they probably will be this year, kind of hard to pinpoint. They should be on the maps, but we don't like make big signage about them, because what we don't want is people to like overuse them and just think it's like a sit down to chat with your friends. It's more of a quiet space for people that really need that quiet, really low sensory environment, and I think it is really worth using them. Like, everyone's entitled to use them. Don't feel like, oh, I'm not entitled to, you like can. I think for me one of my problems is that I didn't know they existed, so I was like, I don't want to walk all the way back to my flat, so I just kept on going and going, and I made it worse and worse for myself because I just wasn't having that break. And if I'd gone into one of the quiet rooms, I probably would have been able to have that break. And of course you can take your friends in there with you, but it's important to remember that it is a quiet space, not a social space. So my third tip is very specific to York. One of the bits in New York that we went to was in the exhibition centre, was full of like businesses advertising takeaways, kind of more educational things like placements, and I think it's quite important, especially for a fresher, to avoid that, because I remember it being so busy and we were wandering around going like, why are we actually here? Like, this has nothing to do with societies. And I remember going through it like thinking, oh, I've had enough already, and we'd not even seen the societies. So I think it's important to work out where that is using the maps and stuff, and then don't go there unless you have burning desire to, because I think it's just unnecessary sensory overload that you just don't need to happen, and it's not needed because they're just businesses and takeaways. But then if you are a student looking for a placement year and things like that, then I probably would recommend going. But if you don't have a need to, especially as a fresher, then just don't go. But this is a kind of a York specific point, but one that I reckon applies to other universities, because from what I saw they had businesses there as well, and the businesses do give you loads of freebies, like, don't get me wrong, but would you rather want freebies or, you know, not having a sensory overload? And if I'm honest with you, I pretty much binned most of my freebies because I just had enough. I had so many bags and leaflets and stuff. We just had a massive recycling haul at the end. So you might have noticed suddenly that my outfit, hair, clothes, background, environment have changed. That's because I didn't finish filming the video before, so I'm just doing the ending bit of it. So the next tip that I have for surviving Freshers' Fair is to bring things that kind of help you with sensory overload. So things like stimming toys, noise cancelling headphones, wearing comfortable clothes, just things that make you feel more relaxed. Bring them with you, because you'll find that they'll really help. My final tip is to leave when you're ready to leave. Don't force yourself and harm your body by staying for longer than you would like to. When you leave, make sure you have a nice relaxing activity back at your house to go and do. Maybe that's watching a film, going out if that's what you enjoy, but just something relaxing that's not too much of a sensory overload, so that you know that you're not having to worry like, oh, I've got to go and do this afterwards. You know, you can just go and chill. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope it helps and makes your freshers experience more manageable, and if you are a first year and this is going to be your first freshers experience, I hope you have a positive one, and then it's better than mine and a lot of people's experience. Don't let me scare you. It's a good day full of fun. Everyone likes to go, so it's a really good place to see lots of people, but just be kind on your body and caring and love it. Hope you're enjoying these videos and have a fantastic day. Goodbye.